Might this finally be the end of the Elon Musk Twitter saga?
I doubt it. There's always a new twist.
Well, he is revealing more of his vision for Twitter, claiming that he wants the social media company to become a global leader in advertising.
That's right. His post on Twitter comes just a day before a court-ordered deadline to complete the $44 billion takeover. It's another sign the Tesla CEO is moving forward with the purchase after he tried to abandon it. Yesterday, Musk entered Twitter's California headquarters carrying a sink. He posted a video of himself online writing, quote, "Entering Twitter headquarters, let that sink in." Musk also updated his Twitter bio to read, Chief Twit. So joining us now is William Cohen. He is a financial journalist and founding partner of Puck, an online news site. William, welcome. Great to have you with us. You know, these sorts of stunts, I don't know what else to call them, it just really make you question whether he's all there, right? I mean, Musk has already pulled out of this Twitter deal a few times, and now it looks like he's likely to finalize. But this being Elon Musk, will he really?
Well, with Elon, as you said, we never know. He's tried to pull out of it a few times. Now it looks like he's going to go forward with it, essentially under a court order. And if it did go to court because he didn't close it, he'd probably lose in court. So he's really doing the right thing in terms of closing this deal legally. So the question is whether, he can make a go of this operationally and whether he can make a go of this financially. And those are two very different things.
Yeah, Bill, I'm kind of thinking about that phrase, you break it, you bought it. And when it comes to Twitter, all this saga has had such an impact on the company itself. In a tweet announcement just this morning, Musk had a message for advertisers outlining his dedication to try and make Twitter the most respected advertising platform in the world, trying to amortize, I think, some of the costs that he's putting out there. He also, though, walked back the idea of total free speech. Tell us what you think is the overture's likely effect and the health of the company.
Well, he's said before, I'm going to cut advertising off the site. I don't like advertising. Now he's talking about liking advertising. He's talking about potentially paying big users to participate in the site, which is an interesting idea, which I like. But again, I think if he, no offense to anybody, but if he brings Donald Trump back, I think he's going to offend a lot of potential advertisers and a lot of users, which may be detrimental to the health of the company. The company has obviously suffered tremendously operationally in the last 6 months since this battle has been going on. Can it make enough in profits to pay the interest and the principal on the $13 billion of debt that it will incur tomorrow if the deal closes? That's a big question. Will the banks be able to sell any of the debt that they have? And at what price is a big question. Will the debt end up into hands of sort of distressed sort of vulture investors, which could become a big problem for Elon Musk and his equity investors? So he's got a lot of work to do to make this thing work operationally and financially. On the other hand, he's Elon Musk. He's the world's richest man.
Yeah.
And he,
Well,
maybe just a rounding error for him.
I mean, you do have a good point, William. He is Elon Musk. Almost everything he's touched up to this point has seemed to turn to gold. But yet Twitter seems to be a little different than what he's done in the past, right? I mean, first of all, he didn't build this company, right? He's taking on someone else's company. So, of course, now it's all just speculation and rumors about what might be next, what he might do with Twitter. What will all of that do to the stability of the company itself?
Well, again, this is absolutely the most interesting deal of the year by far. Again, both operationally and financially. I think the company has been very unstable for the last 6 months. I mean, one day there's a leak story in the paper that he's going to fire 75% of the workforce. How destabilizing could that possibly be? It's unimaginable almost. He's bringing in a sink. What's that all about? He's saying he's going to bring Donald Trump back. That can upset me. He's a chaos agent, and he has been for a long time, but he's also brilliant. But your point is a very good one. He's buying an existing company that's basically been dysfunctional for a long time, that's not really great at making money. It's got a lot of people. It's not clear what they all do, and it's not clear what his business plan is. How is he going to make this deal pay off?
Right.
You know, for his banks. How's he going to make this deal pay off for his fellow investors? He may not care so much about making a return on his $24 billion of equity that he's investing, but a lot of other people do, and a lot of livelihoods are dependent on him making this work.
Absolutely. It will be
In the meantime, he's enjoying puns.
I mean, he seems to enjoy
jokes.
carrying sinks into the office. All right.
Show his muscles.
All right.
Endlessly entertaining fellow.
That's for sure.
All right. William Cohen, thanks.
Thanks, William.
Thank you.
And we are going to take a quick break now, but stay with us. You're streaming CBS News, always on.